This question is for all the candidates. We'll start with Kirk and move to the right. Who has contributed to $500 or more to your campaign, and what organizations have introduced? Oh, let's do the introductions. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. I told you should take this job right here. All right. So we're going to have 1 minute introductions. Kirk, would you go first, please?
I'm always first. I don't like the microphone. I like to be down here with my audience, with you people. Can you all hear me? My name is Kirk Bertolet. I am running for mayor of Morgan Hill. Who am I? That's the main question. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran. I've lived around the world and I've seen many communities, many different things, the Middle East, Europe, South America. I'm an electrician by trade, and I'm called a fixer. And you may ask, what do I fix? I fix anything that needs fixing. Now I'm running for mayor, and I'm running against an awesome individual, Mr. Steve Tate. The good news is that that man is running for his 6th term. The bad news is that he's running for his 6th term. So I have a statement, a saying that I live by, and that is, there aren't any problems. There are only creative solutions waiting to be discovered. And that's what I want to do. I need your help. I need your vote. My name is Kirk Bertolet, and I'm running for mayor of Morgan Hill.
Joseph, would you like to give us your opening statement?
Hello, I am Joseph Carrillo. I am running for mayor because I believe the city could use improvements such as being more pedestrian friendly, bicycle friendly, also preserving agriculture, which Steve Tate's already trying to preserve the southeast quadrant, and I'm in favor of that too. I'm also in favor of the Measure S. But I love politics, so my goal is to get elected. So the main reason I'm running is to get elected. And I have ran for city council on the ballot a few times in a row. Of course, I've not got elected. But this election seems like there's more people voting, and I have a high chance of getting elected, which that's what I'm trying to do. So I never give up, and I keep trying to improve and increase my chance of getting elected. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
I'm running for my 6th term. My name's Steve Tate. I have been the mayor for the past 10 years. I'm really in my 25th year of service to the city of Morgan Hill, 7 on the planning commission and 8 on the council. And running for 1 more term, calling it my last term. I will not run again after this. But we're in the middle of doing some things that I want to keep doing. I have a few themes to this election. I want to keep us safe and sound. Safety is #1 priority always. I want to keep us sound financially. And I have a big theme around managing growth. We're changing our growth control ordinance rather dramatically to a different approach where the city council is really going to have to manage the residential growth. We also want to see a lot of economic growth. More jobs in Morgan Hill, recreational growth, more recreation opportunities. We want to grow our medical services, have more of that, better transportation, grow our transportation alternatives, grow our tourism. So a lot of managed growth coming in, and a few other things I get to hope I can talk to later.
Good evening, gentlemen. Now we will ask that question. And let's start with Kirk. Which organizations contributed $500 or more to your campaign, and which have endorsed you?
I don't have any endorsements, and I have self-funded my own campaign. I don't have any contributions. If anybody'd like to change that. I just thrown my hat in. Like I said, I'm not the guy that's in the back, just throwing out, you know, problems and issues. I'm the guy that steps up and tries to make it happen. So I'm just said, what the heck? I'm going to play the hand I'm dealt. Like I said, I'm self-funded, and I'm just going to see where this goes. And I'm having the time of my life, and I'm meeting great people, and just having an absolutely fantastic time. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for this organization for putting this on. It's really great. Thank you for our MCs, and this is wonderful.
Mr. Carrillo.
I have not received any donations over that amount, and basically my election is self-funded. I handmade my own political signs, you know, just got lettering and vinyl and put my own lettering on. I also, the yard signs that are chloroplast, I have lettering on those too. Basically the flyers I printed out myself, so I basically built a lot of my own advertising materials. Also, since there's no lobbyists or private interests, I think I'm the closest candidate to the public, and I enjoy making my own advertising and my own publicity. So I think I should have a good election. Since I did everything myself, it's probably the cheapest election of all the candidates and possibly the most successful. I'm also the youngest candidate to run for mayor, I think. And if you have any questions about me, feel free to ask. My cell phone number is 1-408-881-3231 if you want to call me. So, okay then, any questions?
Mr. Tate, same question.
Yeah, what was the amount that you...
$500?
$500. I've had one contribution of $1,000 and I think two of $500. And what's the rest of the question?
Which organizations have endorsed you?
I'm endorsed by the South County Democratic Club and the Central Committee for the Democrats of Santa Clara County. They're the two organizations that have endorsed me. I'm endorsed by everybody from our state senator, Bill Munning, on down, Luis Alejo, Mike Wasserman at the county level. I haven't sought outside endorsements because they really don't represent our area, so I've confined it to that. I've got a whole list of my endorsements on my website, which is mayortate.org.
And it was which organizations have contributed, not how many. Can you name those organizations or people?
Yeah. Maybe not. I don't have it right in front of me. I'm pretty sure I have two 500 and 1,000. 1,000 came from Dan McCraven.
Okay, thank you.
Next question is for Mayor Tate. Growth is a hot topic in Morgan Hill, and Measure S is on the ballot to slow or control growth, depending on who you ask. How does Measure S accomplish this, and do you support it?
I absolutely support it. I think it's absolutely essential that we pass it. It is a sea change. It is a dramatic change in how we're going to control growth because we're putting the city council in charge, advised by the planning commission. We're saying that you can allocate up to 215 units of residential growth a year, but that's a maximum. You can pull that down, and you may need to pull it down. We saw recently a building boom where it really needed to be pulled down over that time. We can now control that. We also see on the horizon build out, not enough land to totally have meaningful competitions for a whole bunch of units. So we might want to control the number of units so we still have a meaningful competition. So we're putting the city council in the driver's seat to actually be able to control the amount of allocations that go per year. And in keeping with my theme, there's a whole bunch of areas that I think we need to start managing better the growth of. The number of jobs here in Morgan Hill, how we do economic development. We've got a meaningful economic development staff now that can really do some things. Recreation, we've always had the objective of developing the ball fields, and we still have that as objectives, and we're looking for ways to get that accomplished with the land that we now have for it. Medical, tourism, other areas that we can grow as we go forth in time. But the main one is yes on Measure S.
This is a question for Kirk and Joseph. Kirk, you'll go first. Will you please explain your vision of Morgan Hill, particularly focusing on the developing housing markets and the impact that the residents of these new homes will make on our community? Resources such as fire, police, schools, traffic, noise, and job development.
So what we're talking about is our basic infrastructure. The current city, we run off of developmental fees. Upwards of a quarter of the budget has been funded with developmental fees. And I want to wean Morgan Hill off of that. We have 40-some thousand people here. I don't see any of the issues being resolved by adding another house here. If we, a house costs more in city services than they take in on taxes. I pay $5,000 a year on my taxes, and the city gets about $500. I've used paramedics and fire services in my house. One time ate that. Cost of trash and other things, of course, that's funded. But the cost of a house does not provide, or it costs more to run a house than we take in. So we need other sources of revenue. We're going to have to look at and get creative and find another way to do it. One way is to start bringing down more industry. We need to really focus on that. And if we need a tax, if we got to pay to play, then that may have to happen. But we need to honestly look at what's going to happen. I think it needs to be conveyed and communicated to the people, and the guarantees that it will be spent appropriately.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Carrillo.
Yes, my vision of Morgan Hill is basically a sustainable, walkable, pedestrian-friendly, bike-friendly city and downtown. I believe downtown should have a lot of small businesses and entertainment to attract tourists. And they're developing a lot of residential, but I think the small business units need to be developed more, because businesses create more sales tax than residential development. I mean, it's obvious, because small businesses also create jobs within the city. They create a lot of good stuff. So small businesses are what the city and the downtown needs. Right now the downtown looks like a construction site, some parts of it. And I think instead of it being a construction site, it needs to be a thriving downtown with a bunch of small businesses. So maybe they develop too fast. I know a lot of businesses had to move out of downtown that were originally downtown, and that seems like it's more undeveloping than developing. Sustainable development should develop small business, bring more businesses, instead of just developing residential. So, but I am in favor of Measure S, just like Steve Tate, because we need a growth control cap. And thank you. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How do you propose to bring more homeownership opportunities to lower income people, senior citizens, and young families just starting out if we maintain the 70-30 single family to high density housing ratio as proposed in Measure S and the general plan?
I'm not sure that I understand the question. Am I in favor of doing that, or what are we doing to do it?
How do you propose bringing more homeownership opportunities to lower income people, senior citizens, and young families just starting out?
Well, we have a very good record of providing affordable housing here in Morgan Hill. We've done a lot of that through our residential development control system, and part of what we did with our residential development control system is up the percentage from 12% to 15% that we want embedded within future developments coming to town. We do have apartment units approved out on Condit Road and another project being proposed on Butterfield that hasn't gotten any allocations yet. We hope that'll be a lot more affordable to the younger families, as you suggest. And we did lose our redevelopment agency, which provided 20% set-aside funds for affordable housing. So we are, looking at other ways. I believe the entire council has endorsed Measure A on the ballot, which will be a county-wide $950 million allocation to affordable housing. And I think with our experience and our record of the past, we'll be in line to get quite a bit of that money if that passes by the county. Thank you.
Define the pension problem as you see it in Morgan Hill, and how do you plan on addressing it?
The pension problem. The $30 million deficit that Morgan Hill is facing, it's called unfunded liability. It seems like every government agency dealing with pensions is doing this. I'm not sure what VTA is up to, but it's in excess of $100 million. Morgan Hill is at $30 million. That's the equivalent of you getting a credit card with a $100,000 limit, you maxing it out, and you pay the minimum every month. We need to pay it down. We need to find a way to deal with that. What happens is that CalPERS, who we fund our pensions through, what happens is they invest the money, they handle the fund, and if they come short, they do a bad investment, the economy takes a dump, then they come asking for that money, and they want it, and we're liable for it. And so we need to pay that debt down, just like you manage your credit cards, manage everything else. That's a burden that will be here for now, for our kids. It's just something we need to resolve.
Thank you.
Mr. Carrillo, what are some of the steps that you might propose to further conserve water, and how will you make up the loss in revenue from lower water bills?
Well, I guess mainly the review the maintenance statistics. Leaks, whenever there's leaks in pipes, they wastewater. I think drip systems are good for irrigation, so maybe propose like rebates for drip systems for some way to encourage owners to install drip systems, because drip systems can be quite expensive to switch from sprinklers to drip systems. So also maybe drought-tolerant plants, which the city's already planning. But on the other hand, a lot of water issues from the drought, so we could hope for rain, but that may not happen. I know as far as global warming is concerned, I think promoting more bike and pedestrian use, promoting more public transit, will reduce the amount of carbon monoxide and CO2 going to the atmosphere, so it would be more likely to rain if there's less global warming. But I think as far as for irrigation, I think encouraging more drip systems, although I don't think that's the ultimate solution. I think most of the drought is just from lack of rain, which I guess but making sure there's no pollution in the storm drains and making sure the creeks are healthy. I don't know what else besides that. If you have any more detailed questions about water conservation, but feel free to ask if you have any more questions.
Mr. Tate, how do you plan to create jobs that pay a living wage for Morgan Hill residents if we continue to cut back on zoning for industrial and commercial properties?
If we continue to cut back on
the zoning for industrial and commercial properties, changing the zoning from...
We have changed the zoning along Butterfield for those apartments that I just mentioned that have not been approved yet, but that's the only one that we've cut back on. We still have many years' supply of industrial land available for development, and we have quite a few firms here in Morgan Hill that are looking to expand. It's kind of a glowing thing right now, so I'm not real sure what you're saying. I don't know of any other plans to convert any industrial land.
I think the question is trying to get at how do you plan to create jobs that pay a living wage? Period.
That's an area of focus. The city right now is developing an economic blueprint. We're going to be bringing that to you at the chamber and working with you to figure out exactly how it's going to be implemented, but it's going to be building around educational facilities and new kinds of opportunities to attract and also to welcome the expansions that are going on within the city that are quite widespread right now and quite encouraging to the future of more jobs available.
Thank you.
This question is for Mr. Bertolet. With or without Measure S, the city could run out of room for new homes within a decade. How do you propose weaning the city off funds received from developers that the city depends on for parks and infrastructure, maintenance, and improvements?
Well, the answer to not developing houses or growing with residential growth is to grow with industry. Industry pays a lot more in taxes than houses bring in. So cities like Stanton in Southern California went bankrupt because they were only a sleeper city with no industry. Once again, it costs more to run a house than it does to run an industry. And if you have industry, then there's things that we can reverse. If we got some of the big players that are building in Santa Clara, Sunnyvale, Mountain View, the things that I'm around every day, and get some of those players down here, down to Gilroy, people won't have to commute north, they can commute south. We got a whole half a freeway that's available every day that isn't being utilized. And we need to grow smarter. We need to get those industries down here. What I would do if I become mayor is develop an economic development team. They've already got a couple of people. We need people that are connected to the big players up in Silicon Valley and get those people down here and get that money down here. If we have to do tax incentives, do what we need to do, we need to get that. And it's going to take leadership that will be able to go and talk to those people and bring them down here.
The cities of Sunnyvale, Campbell, Mountain View, and several others in Silicon Valley all used to have a small town character similar to that of Morgan Hill. But we saw what happened to those communities. How do you propose Morgan Hill avoid that same fate?
Is this to me?
Yes.
Okay, good. We have values in this community. The recreation, you know, everybody in Morgan Hill recreates in the healthy lifestyle. We value our youth. We value our seniors. We value each other. When some kind of crisis like this fire comes up, everybody's willing to pitch in and do things. That characterizes that small town, that neighborly feeling that we have. That's what the people that live here bring to the community. And we can't lose that. We've got to keep that. We've got to recognize what our values are, embrace them, and celebrate it like we frequently do with the 4th of July, with the Taste of Morgan Hill. We just got to keep that feeling. We are going to continue to grow. We can't avoid continuing to grow. People have to live somewhere. So saying that if we keep growing, that the small town feel will go away could become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and I don't want to see that happen. So I want to be kind of the spokesperson out there saying, let's keep the character of Morgan Hill alive and embrace it.
Thank you.
This is for Mr. Carrillo, and I think this is the last question before closing statements. Mr. Carrillo, since the county's LAFCO commission has denied the city's ability to develop the southeast quadrant, what are the best next steps for that area? And the second part of that question is, do you believe Morgan Hill needs more sports facilities? And if so, where would you propose to develop those in the city?
Yes, I do believe that the way we go with preserving agriculture, we have to find better ways to encourage preserving it. So, but I do think the city needs more sports facilities for that second question. Aquatic Center turned out really good, the one that Dennis Kennedy helped build. The Outdoor Sports Center turned out good, CRC, all of them, but Aquatic Center doesn't have a diving pool, like a high diving pool. That'd be a good addition to the city, would be adding a diving pool. But there's other, sports venues that could be added, but I think sports are a good thing, so the city could always use more sports facilities, and it's a public service, so I think it's a good thing for a city to have parks and sports facilities. Any more details about that question?
I think so.
Thank you. Now you have 1 minute for a closing statement. Let's start with Mayor Tate this time.
Okay. As I say, I have 25 years of service to the City of Morgan Hill. Want to do a couple of others. I think my experience and my connections within the region that we live in are very important to some of the objectives that I put forth for the next couple of years. I think experience counts from the standpoint of being able to get things done going forward. We've accomplished a lot of things in the past. I really appreciate AUW having this forum, and I request your vote. I've got envelopes and postcards and everything outside if you'd like to get those. But I would really appreciate your vote for one more term. Thank you.
I'm Joseph Carrillo, and I am glad to be running for mayor. I hope that I get elected. I know, just like Steve Tate mentioned, experience. I have a lot of experience campaigning and trying to get elected, but I don't have experience in office, and I think that's why I need to get elected, so I can have experience serving as mayor. And I'm glad that Steve Tate's also from Measure S, so I guess I'm from Measure S too, so I'll second that. Motion second. So I think, yeah, I hope I have a good chance of getting enough votes, but I would want to preserve, the small town feel that we have. I know a lot of people downtown have seen overdevelopment, and we need to keep it the small town Morgan Hill that it is, and preserve agriculture and bring more small businesses, entertainment venues, tourist traps, tourist attractions, and all the good stuff to downtown Morgan Hill to make it a sustainable city with small business, recreation, and entertainment. And also, small businesses provide jobs for people who live here. Thank you. Any more questions, feel free to ask. That's my closing statement.
Thank you. Once again, I can come down there, but I'm going to indulge myself. Selfie. Where are my veterans? Where are my fellow veterans? Anybody? Thank you for your service. I really appreciate that. Nice sacrifice for a community. I come from a small town in Southern California called Costa Mesa, California.
Oh, you need a microphone for the TV here.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I got my own.
Testing 1, 2. Hey, all right. So I'm on TV, all right.
Yeah.
So, I come from a small town, Costa Mesa, California. It's just like Morgan Hill. It was a small town surrounded by farm fields. Everything that we have, it had, and it's gone. And my whole platform is I want to stop that. I want to just slow it down. I love what Morgan Hill is. It's a beautiful community, and I just want to preserve that. Once again, my name is Kirk Bertolet. Thank you for coming. I'm running for Mayor of Morgan Hill. Bye, Carrillo.
Thank you. You are now excused, yes.